Hi, Seekers of Truth. This is the Weird Christian, and today we're going to have some fun just exploring Genesis. And first part, just something to think about. Here's in chapter 2, and we're going to get right into it about different things here. Now, as you notice, there's a big P there. That's kind of where actually chapter 1 really finishes in the grammatical thing here. I have Hebrew on this side, and King James Version, I think this is on this side. And it's from the Mechon Marim.org. They have a nice setup, and also I'm going to be using Google Translate in a way. It's actually quite improved, and it's quite interesting. Now, I'm just going to talk about this here, this chapter, or verse 4 in chapter 2. It says, "These are the generations of the heaven and the earth when they were created." Now, it sounds like the way it's written here, that it's talking about the heaven and the earth. But it's not really talking about heaven and the earth here. It's talking about the generations or the people. Generations. Sometimes this is called the accounts, but I think, or a record, but I think it's more than that. It's talking about people. That's why they use this word in here. And I'm just going to highlight this sentence here in Hebrew, and it goes right up to here. That would go right up to when they were created, and then it goes in let's see, that's Bar Lim or Yim in the day. Anyway, I'm not that great at Hebrew. I'm kind of quite rusty on it right now for pronouncing it. But anyway, I'm just going to go to Google, and here I've got that same verse in here. And if you want to hear what it sounds like, it tells you. Yeah, and that's sounds pretty good. El Todot, which is let's see here. Here's the word for generation. Okay, so this is Todot, the generations. Ha'ashemin, that's the heaven. Ve'aharetz, that's the earth. Be'hebrarim, that in their creation. So it's really talking about, at this stage, it's talking about the people. Here it says children, could be the descendants of the people of the heaven and earth. So they're the people that are living under the heaven and earth in the creation. That's what it's really talking about. It says here we're going to talk about the people. And I just thought I'd bring that to your attention, just the way it says it here. It gives you more that it's not talking about the heaven and the earth. It's talking about the people. That's the big point here. So I thought that was important, because it doesn't really come across about that in here. But that's what this section now is going to be, just talking about the people and how God deals with people. And you'll see that it says Lord God. And that would be, here it is here. Control C. Yeah. That's Yahweh Elohim. Let's see how it says it in the Google. I just consider if it will say Adonai. Oops, we don't want to do that. Oh, we got to start down here, right? Got to think backwards. Okay. Okay. See, here it goes, Yehovah God. And that's another way of pronouncing Yahweh. You can put a few vowels in there, Yehovah. And you can get Yehovah or Yahweh, Elohim. And this is actually, El is actually God. And the him in the end here is the plural. But because it's used in with the singular verb, considers it just God, because the verb kind of dominates the noun in that sense. So, but they're still putting the plural. So it's the one God who's plural, basically. It's just a very interesting way of saying it, Elohim. But and the Yahweh or Jehovah is, if you look at the letters, I've got this Google thing here. It's kind of getting in the way. It doesn't want to get out of the way. So anyway, it's grammarly. It's kind of getting in the way. But anyway, that's okay. Sorry. But there's a yad, and then it's a ha, va, ha. And they have meanings. I've talked about that before. The hand reveals, the nail reveals the upright man. Basically, that's what Jehovah means in its letter consonant place. Like we kind of made it into a sentence. Okay, so let's go back to the Hebrew here. That's fun. And so he's made the man, and he's put him in the garden. And the garden is, I really think it is probably a physical place. I mean, they have these rivers, and some people have had shown where the Pishon and the the other rivers. Let's see here, and when they say four heads, that means all the rivers come to one spot, which is kind of a different way than we think about it. We think the head of a river is of the top of the mountain. They think the head of the river is actually where it congeals together is the head, and the top of the mountain maybe the feet. I don't know, but the Hebrew idea is different than the way we think of it, because and they got the different rivers. The second river is the Gahan, and then in the Cush, and then there's the Tigris and the Euphrates. So you have the Pishon, the first river, and that goes. A fellow looked at it, and there's these dry riverbeds that go towards the two rivers, right at the close to the coast, where the Tigris and the Euphrates empty into the Red Sea, or no, not Red Sea. Maybe it is the Red Sea, or maybe it's the Gulf of. No, I think it's the Gulf of Arabia, not the Red Sea. Anyway, I have to look at a map to get it all straightened out. But anyway, so, and another cool thing here that I want to talk about, and maybe you want to hear, I don't know, but I think it's cool. Okay, so he formed the two trees in the midst of the garden, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And here it just mentions the tree in the midst of the garden, the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, they use the word knowledge here, and a lot of times it is. There's different things that's interesting where they change the name, change the way it's said. Let's see here, good and evil. Here we go. Tough. Let's see here. We got it here, right here. This is the word here. We'll just take that and cut and paste. Anyway, here. Let's go like this. Let's say knowledge of good and evil. And we can Hada'at Tov Ve'era.
Hada'at Tov Ve'era.
Hada'at Tov Ve'era. Okay, so Hada'at Tov Ve'era. So it's Hadat is knowledge, and you can see how it's kind of ha, dot, at, and that's a T, that's a tav. Anyway, tov, vara, or this is a to. I've got to get my Hebrew up to snuff. I don't even know the. Anyway, sorry, but it's hadat tovara. So tovara. That's a ava. That's the same thing as in Yehovah. Vav. Okay. So anyway. So here we have the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and he talks about if you eat the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will die. So it's about death, and then he forms a woman. Okay, and there's other trees. But the trees seem to be about knowledge. All the trees in the garden, they're about knowledge. One's about knowledge of life or life, and one's about knowledge of good and evil, or something like that. And then there's other trees of maybe other knowledge. I just get the idea that trees are more than just trees, right? I know people say, oh, you got to take the Bible literally. Well, if you did, then you wouldn't understand much of the Bible, because there's lots of parts that are, the dragon. Well, is there a dragon? Is the Satan a dragon? Look at Revelation. You're going to take that all literally, and then take Daniel when he's talking about the beast, and they're actually nations, but are they beasts? Are they nations? The beasts that are used in Daniel are used to describe the nations. The characteristics of the beast describe the nation, but the nation is not an animal. So you have to use an understanding of language and context and what's going on. You don't take everything literally, or else you want to change the definition of literal. Don't change it, in order to make it work. Some people do that. They change the definition so they can say, well, literal means figurative and it means allegories here, and it means all sorts of things. Just don't use the word if it doesn't mean anything, if you're using it meaninglessly. And I think that's a problem. Some people, they look at words and they try to redefine the words. Here, I'm not trying to redefine the words. I'm just kind of looking at the words and trying to understand what's being said. And so I just think that's a different way of looking at it here. And I'm going to go to the next chapter here. And here it's interesting. Here it has now so it goes, let's just see if we get the pronunciations right. And we can go to, don't want to go too far. Maybe up to here. That's probably far enough. And okay. Okay. Now here it's got, and it goes like this, if you want to. Vaha naharish haya aram.
והנחש היה ערום.
Okay, yes, okay. Let's see. Vananahash haya arum. So, and here it says naked. In the translation, it says something else. And it calls the brazen one the Hahanarish. And it's interesting because you got the Naharish. Naharish. Okay, Nahaish. That's right here. Right there is the Nah. That's a Naharish. So, Haye Arum. So was naked. Arum, I guess, is naked. But it can also mean other things. And they call it the brazen one. It's interesting with the word in the translation. It's called the brazen one, which is a brash, egotistical maybe. Anyway, but it's also got the snake in there, nahayish. So you can see how the words are have a meaning more than just a snake. I just thought I'd just show this. And I don't think this is far wrong. I don't think I'm destroying the meaning of the text. Lots of people talk about this. And here is the woman said unto the servant. And the woman right to there. That's what that is there. Sorry with my whistling. I do that sometimes. Crazy. Okay. Oh, okay. We got the woman. Oh, Haisha. That's the woman. Okay, so I didn't go far enough. There it is. Haisha. Okay, let's get more. Oh, yeah, there it is. The snake. And they got little colons here. I guess that's the last of the phrase. You see, you got the colon there. I should have been watching. And look at, they got Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hai. And the He is 5, and you got the values. See, Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, Gimel is 3, and Dalet is 4, and He is 5. Anyway, and He immediately means reveal. A lot of things. There's a little secrets in Hebrew about that. Okay, anyway. Okay, where was I? It was, the woman of the garden, and she's talking to a snake. See here, they got to the coppersmith. But I just wanted to show you something here. It's got ha nahish. Ha nahish. Or whatever. Let's see how it's pronounced here. Hush. El nahash. Al hananash. Let's see if I got that right. Practice. El hanahash. And El is actually a root of a god. And it's got God the snake. But here they call it a coppersmith. Because a snake, I guess, maybe is like shines like a copper. But it's got the L in there, which actually kind of makes it God. That's why a lot of people say it's like an archangel. And you read Ezekiel, talks about in 28, an angel of Satan in the garden. Satan is an angel in the garden. So, coppersmith is it's interesting how it's translated here. It's not really translated right as a coppersmith, but it gives the idea of the al-hananish, of the snake. He's a god snake. It's interesting because the L's in there. I just thought I'd share that. So that's why they get this idea. Some places it's just hananish, ha-na-hish, and sometimes it's el-ha-na-hish. I'm destroying the Hebrew because I'm not really practiced with the translating or the pronunciation. But I just wanted to share that with you. It's kind of interesting. It's fun. I think that's fun. And here, the serpent is making promises just in false promises to lying to the woman. And here's one last thing I'm going to you shall be as God, knowing good and evil. Now here's another little spot that's really cool, I thought. Okay, if we take this, that's the knowing good and evil. Okay. And we're just going to throw it into the translator here. And throw that in here. It says, I know good and bad. And I think that's when it'd be a better kind of translation for that. It's basically not just saying knowing good and evil, but declaring that you know good and evil. I know good and bad. I know good and evil. You know, so it's the really idea that they are making their own truth and pretending that they're gods and that they can change the world, and the world is, they can, if it doesn't follow their decree, it's an illusion and all sorts of stuff like that. I just thought it would be fun to share that with you, so that you can maybe look at this in question, maybe talk to a person who knows Hebrew. Maybe I'm talking out of my, what. But anyway, I think it's very important to get a good idea of what's really going on in the garden. It's a decision. It's not like they portray in, like Jordan Peterson. He thinks it's about a person becoming naive, and they're built naive, and then they start getting a conscience when they eat the tree. No, that's not what's going on. That's his interpretation from the philosophers that he's learned from, and agrees with, like Martin Heidegger and stuff like that. That's not what's going on, and this is all built up from other knowledge of people in history, all the philosophers. He builds it on that, but that's not what's going on at all. It's about a decision. People are asked to make a decision. Are they going to have life, or are they going to have death? Are they going to have truth, or are they going to believe lies? Are they going to have reality, or are they going to live in a fantasy? Are they going to be committed to people, or are they going to be committed to rules? And are they going to make rules so that everybody, you can decide who's what and whatever? Or are you going to just love other people? There's a dichotomy of a decision, and it's not Adam gaining his consciousness. It's Adam making a decision what kind of life he wants to live. There's one where you blame people, and another one where you actually forgive people. And Adam, apparently he was still in the blaming. That's one of the reasons why he had to get kicked out, because he was still acting like a god. He was acting like he had justification for his actions. And if Paul was reading this, it wouldn't be about naivety and coming into consciousness. That's not what Paul was writing. He was a man that knew the scriptures. He would be talking about justification, how people justify themselves in the sight of God. Do they justify themselves by their systems and their works and their dress and their, and they cover up their hypocrisy? This is the thing. It's about justification. It's not about consciousness in this regard. I mean, we have consciousness, and consciousness is really important. But the issue here is not about coming into consciousness. That's not what it's about at all. Adam had his conscience already. He just decided to live in a fantasy world of his own making. That's the way I see it, from what I understand. I don't. Okay, it's totally different, I realize, than people think about it. I just want you to look at the scripture. Look at it. Consider, pray, think. May God bless you. Just a sec here. Come on. What's going on? I don't.